To everyone looking in, they were all like, Kai, you've made it, you're 22, you're doing, all these cool things in social media, you're traveling the world, you're working with the biggest influencers, why aren't you happy? I would almost say that I was happier back when I was working at Chick-fil-A and like being a paintball referee.
I've been a flight attendant, I've been a truck driver, I've been a perfume salesman, I've been a street performer on the Las Vegas Strip. I used to work background in porn. As a black dude who's done a whole bunch of shit, it's hard for me to think that I'm at a disadvantage when I've done more shit than the average person has.
Hello, I am the PhD Cat. From a young age, we are taught a simple formula. Work hard, put in 12-hour days, and success will follow. But why is reality so different? In that famous Jubilee middle ground episode, the statistics cited were staggering. Wealth inequality is at an all-time high. Most people live paycheck to paycheck, and 8 individuals own more wealth than half of the world's population combined. Today, I want to unpack a myth that has lulled generations to sleep. The myth of working hard. Why do some people work themselves to exhaustion and remain stuck financially, while others sitting behind a laptop generate millions? One of the most heated moments in the Jubilee video centered on gender roles and income. A young Muslim participant shared, "I grew up in a traditional household where the man is responsible for providing. That's a core belief I carry." Meanwhile, a high school teacher countered, "I'm passionate about teaching, but I only make $36K. My fiancé and I both work to make ends meet. In today's economy, surviving on a single income is nearly impossible for most people." Why does this topic strike such a sensitive chord? Because in the modern economy, a man's ego is often tightly tied to his financial output. As the cost of living skyrockets, expecting a single provider to support a family on a 20th century model within an inflated 21st century economy creates immense psychological pressure. The Jubilee debate split the audience into 2 distinct camps. The self-reliance / red pill camp. Poverty comes down to a victim mindset. If you can't provide for your family, you need to step up. The systemic critique camp. Inflation, corporate monopolies, and structural barriers make hard work alone insufficient. Which side do you lean toward? Or do you see valid points in both? Consider the contrasting stories shared in the Jubilee episode. One participant shared how he built his credit score from scratch to secure over 100Ks in credit lines, used it for dropshipping and day trading, and once made $161,000 in 3 hours. On the other hand, systemic advocates pointed out, for every outlier who gets rich off crypto or social media, millions of working-class people put in 10-hour physical shifts every day and still struggle to pay rent. The fundamental difference isn't who works harder. The difference is leverage. First, labor leverage. Selling your time hour by hour, you are capped by 24 hours in a day. Second, capital leverage, using money or credit lines to generate cash flow. Third, media and code leverage, building digital content, software, or e-commerce models. Work once, replicate infinitely. The narrative that hard work alone guarantees wealth keeps people trading labor in a system where capital and media hold all the power. If hard work equaled wealth, construction workers and night shift custodians would be the richest people on earth. The most profound realization in the Jubilee video came near the end, when the conversation shifted to happiness. The former day trader admitted,
When I had like the bulk of my money, right, I gained a shit ton of weight. I didn't have to do shit. Like, I'll just wake up to money, you know what I mean, right? I was real, like, my ex, we was living together, and she used to say all the time, like, those times when I was laying, like, I had gained a whole bunch of weight, I couldn't even see myself pee, bro. Like, it was nasty. Then she took us to a salsa class. I've been dancing salsa for the last 4 years. I found purpose in that. And my happiness more so comes from the purpose, like the purpose of doing things. Yes. You know what I mean, right? So although I don't have the bread that I used to have to do, I am content because I put myself out there and I make the most out of my situation.
And Kai, who achieved financial success at 22, shared, I thought money would make me happy, but I was just postponing my happiness. Honestly, I felt more content when I was working at Chick-fil-A or refereeing paintball games because I didn't carry the heavy burden of supporting so many people. We grind to purchase freedom and happiness, but when hustle culture turns into an endless cycle of chasing a bigger payout, we get stuck on a hedonic treadmill. Real peace often comes down to what one participant summarized as contentment, learning to separate your self-worth from your bank account balance. Thank you for spending time with the PhD Cat today as we dissect these societal dynamics. Hard work doesn't guarantee wealth on its own, but a lack of effort guarantees stagnation. The key is to stop working hard blindly and start working with leverage. Since everyone's personal experience shapes their view on this, I want to hear your perspective in the comments. Do you agree or disagree with the statement in Jubilee? In modern society, poverty is driven more by a victim mindset than by systemic barriers? And if you had to choose a fulfilling job earning $36K a year with low stress, or a high-powered job making $500K a year that leaves you burnt out, which would you honestly pick? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Hit like and subscribe to the PhD Cat for more deep dive analyses. See you in the next episode.